milk is good for you, and 8 other lies you still believe. The statement, milk's good for the body, is a lie. According to some medical professionals, milk is actually bad for you. Everyone has been told this lie at some point in their lives. If you were told that Santa Claus, the Easter Bunny, or the Tooth Fairy were real, then we hate to tell you, but you were lied to. Those lies were not harmful to us because we were children and we wanted something to believe in. But the claim that milk's good for the body is a lie, and may have serious consequences according to some leading medical professionals. Dr. Walter Willet believes it is more harmful than helpful to the body. Why don't we tell you a little more about this and the other lies you were told? Before we begin this video, don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more daily tips like this, and turn on notifications so you never miss our new videos. Alright, so on to milk. You're probably thinking, I use milk in my coffee and my tea, and it's even found in some of my delicious treats. You'd be right. Milk's good for getting your daily calcium, potassium, and protein intake, but you could also get that through fruits and vegetables. But the dairy industry does not want you to know that, so they've been spending billions of dollars trying to prove otherwise. Dr. Willet has conducted several studies and has done extensive research on the topic, and he believes that the dairy product may be more harmful to the body than an aid. One of the reasons Dr. Willet believes that milk's good for the body is a lie is because of the non-factor it plays in regards to bone fractures. The dairy industry and the government have been telling society that milk will make your bones strong and will reduce the risk of fracturing a bone. To try and prove this theory wrong, Dr. Willet published research that he and his colleagues conducted on 96,000 men and women from their 2 long-running decade studies, the Nurses' Health Study and the Health Professionals Follow-Up Study. You can find the study in the journal JAMA Pediatrics. What the team found was that higher milk consumption during teen years of both men and women did not translate into a reduced risk of hip fractures when people age. This just goes on to prove that milk's good for the body is a lie. If it wasn't, wouldn't you see a decrease in fractures from those who consume it on a daily basis? Dr. Willet also added that his team knows that consuming milk as a child could increase their chances of being tall. But he also mentioned that taller individuals are at a higher risk for some fractures. In fact, according to that same study, dairy could increase the risk of certain fractures by almost 50%. What's alarming about this finding is that countries that have low dairy consumption, like Asia and Africa, have the lowest rates when it comes to osteoporosis. This could also prove that milk's good for the body is a lie. In addition to those findings, statistics show that 3/4 of the world are actually unable to digest milk or any other dairy products. So if you cannot digest a product that is supposedly good for you, then it just further proves that milk's good for the body is a lie. Then who are we to blame then for selling a product that most people in the world can't consume? The consumer? No. The consumer has been taught that milk's good for the body, but what they should be told is that milk's good for the body is a lie. But there are health risks that come with drinking milk that we have not discussed. According to Medical News Today, cancer is one of them. And you're probably thinking, you can get cancer from everything. And you're probably right. But why is a good chunk of the population unaware that high calcium intake from dairy products is associated with an increased risk of ovarian cancer? Also, high calcium from any source could potentially cause cancer in men. You're not hearing this from celebrities that endorse the dairy industry or advertisements that tell you how milk's good for you. The dairy industry has been around for decades, and they have to protect their products in any way they can, but eventually, people will catch on. You're already seeing an increase in dairy-free products, and almond milk sales have increased by over 250% from year 2000 to 2015. Alright, so now that we've discussed how the dairy industry, your teachers, and especially your parents lied to you, why don't we talk about other lies you were told throughout your life? Lie number 1. Twinkies never expire. Yes, unfortunately, this delectable pastry food won't last forever during an apocalypse. Apparently, the people at 22 Words tell us they can only last about 45 days on the shelf. Typically, stores will keep them there for about 7 to 10. There goes storing Twinkies for when the bombs drop. What about ho-hos though? Lie number 2. A shot of espresso has more caffeine than coffee. Wow. For all the people who enjoy drinking coffee and love to have an extra boost in the morning, we bet your mind is blown. Now let's clarify some things before we get too carried away. Ounce for ounce, espresso has more caffeine. Unfortunately, you usually drink a shot of espresso, but you drink a lot more than a shot of coffee. So, if you're looking for a morning boost from espresso, just do like 6 shots. We can promise you'll be so wired you won't even notice the lies about food and drinks that are being told to you. Lie number 3. Fortune cookies aren't from China. We bet there are some of you out there saying, well, duh, Bestie, they originated in San Francisco. They're really uncommon in China and are in fact an American invention. Well, thanks for ruining our beautiful reality, viewer. We bet you feel really good about yourself, don't you? We're not crying. You are. Lie number 4. No witches were burned at the stake in Salem. History buffs have already felt the pain of discovering this lie. However, the rest of us are just finding out about it right now. What happened to the accused, you asked? Same thing that happened to most of them those days. Hanging. About 15 died in prison. 19 were hanged. And here's the story that'll make up for the fact that we just broke up your worldview. One of the men accused of witchcraft, Giles Corey, was pressed to death by rocks after he refused to plead guilty or not guilty. His last words as the rocks were crushing his body, "More weight." Now that guy is an inspiration. Lie number 5. Napoleon was short. Ladies and gentlemen, this is lie number 5. Turns out that little corporal wasn't so little after all. He was about 5'7", the average height of a Frenchman in those days, but not tall enough to impress your average Tinder girl. There are a couple of reasons for this confusion. Number 1, a lot of British propaganda portrayed the legendary French emperor as small. And number 2, when he died, his weight was recorded as 5'2", in French feet. Translated to imperial, that comes out to our original number of 5'7". And 3, he was constantly surrounded by the French Imperial Guard, who were chosen for their large stature, which is probably why he looked small in comparison. Poor, average-sized guy. Lie number 6. Buddha was fat. But wait a minute, we hear you crow in defiance. What about all those statues of the fat guy sitting cross-legged we always associate it with Buddhism? Well, dear viewer, that's actually a 10th century folk hero named Budai. He will become the Buddha after the teachings of the historical Buddha, an entity named Siddhartha Gautama, are forgotten. If you're interested in ancient religion, then you should really check out the story of Buddhism. It's incredibly interesting. Just don't expect the Buddha to be fat. Lie number 7. The Vikings wore horned helmets. Yes, our image of a berserker charging into battle with bull's horns on his head is indeed untrue. Apparently, they just used to wear regular iron helmets, which makes them a lot less cool. Where did the false idea of horned warriors pillaging the beaches of historical England come from? Apparently, it was from an 1876 production of Der Rings des Nibelungen, an opera by the famous Richard Wagner. You know that piece from Flight of the Valkyries? That opera features this song. Lie number 8. Putting metal in microwaves won't damage the electronics. What? Now you're lying to us, aren't you, Bestie? We would never lie to you, dear viewer. So, no, we're not playing around with this one. Apparently, putting metal in your microwave is almost totally fine, says the people at 22 Words. Why almost? You'll notice electrical arcing in the microwave as the metal cooks, which could damage the interior of your skin if you get too close. Our advice? Just continue to avoid putting metal in the microwave if at all possible. And that's it. What were the most despicable lies that you were told as a kid? Were you surprised of our expose of the dairy industry and of milk in general? What food or drink are you surprised aren't actually all that good for you? Answer all these questions in the comments section below. Enjoyed this video? Hit the like button and share with your friends. Also, subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. Thanks for watching.